Let me say something nobody in your life is willing to say to you. You make good money, not middle of the road, not scraping by. You make genuinely good money. And you still feel broke, or you still have almost nothing saved, or you still don't know where it all goes. This isn't a mystery. It isn't bad luck. It isn't the economy. There is a specific, diagnosable reason why high earners can live paycheck to paycheck. And once you see it, you cannot unsee it. More importantly, you can fix it. Not gradually, not eventually, rapidly, if you choose to. By the end of this video, I'm going to walk you through the exact mechanism that is consuming your income, show you the math of what it's already cost you, and give you a concrete system to stop it. This is the most important financial conversation you'll have this year. Let's get into it. There is a documented phenomenon in personal finance called lifestyle creep, and it is so well studied and so predictable that financial researchers can calculate its approximate effects at each income level with remarkable accuracy. It is not a character flaw. It is a behavioral response to income that the human brain is almost literally wired to produce. Understanding it removes the shame. Identifying it in your own life removes the damage. That's what this video does. Here is the number that should stop you cold. The average American household in the top 20% of income, families earning between $130,000 and $200,000 a year, saves approximately 12% of their income. That sounds reasonable until you do the math. At $150,000 income with a 12% savings rate, you're saving $18,000 a year. In 25 years at 8% average returns, that's approximately $1.4 million. Comfortable, but not extraordinary for that income level. Now here's the problem. That same household is spending $132,000 a year. Per year. Month after month. And if income drops, job loss, health event, industry disruption, there is very little runway. The math that looks fine at the surface reveals a deeply fragile structure underneath. But what's more alarming is the 40% of people in that income bracket who save less than 5%. 40% of high earners are functionally one bad year away from financial crisis, not because of low income, but because of a spending structure that consumes everything they make. Reason number one, the income-spending lockstep. The human brain has a documented tendency to normalize the spending level that feels appropriate for its current income. This isn't weakness. It's a psychological mechanism called hedonic adaptation, the process by which new circumstances, whether positive or negative, become the new normal. When your income increases, you don't consciously decide to spend more. Your reference point shifts. The apartment you used to love suddenly feels small. The car that felt like a step starts to feel like just a car. The vacation budget that felt generous starts to feel like the minimum. Every raise gets absorbed, not because you're irresponsible, but because your brain recalibrates your sense of normal upward automatically. The research on this is extensive. Studies consistently show that self-reported life satisfaction from income increases fades almost completely within 6 to 24 months, but the spending that accompanied the raise remains permanently. The practical fix: implement the half the raise rule immediately. Every income increase, raise, bonus, side income, route half of it directly to investment before your lifestyle can absorb it. Do this automatically so no decision is required. The lifestyle gets a partial upgrade. The portfolio captures the rest. Reason number two, the status premium. High earners face a specific spending pressure that lower earners don't, the expectation to live like a high earner. This expectation comes from colleagues, social circles, and sometimes from internal self-concept, the story of who you are that your purchases are supposed to confirm. In high-income professional environments, there is an unspoken but powerful social script. The car you drive signals your status. The neighborhood you live in signals your success. The vacations you take signal your taste. The restaurants you frequent signal your lifestyle. These are not frivolous choices. They feel like professional and social necessities, and they are extremely expensive. A 2024 Charles Schwab Modern Wealth Survey found that Americans with household incomes above $100,000 were more likely to report financial stress than those with incomes between $50,000 and $75,000. More income, more stress. Not because life is harder at higher incomes, but because the spending that attaches to higher incomes scales faster than the income does. The practical fix. Audit your spending specifically for purchases driven by image maintenance, not for things you genuinely enjoy, for things you buy because of what they signal. Be honest, this category is almost always larger than people expect it to be. Reason number 3, the invisible subscriptions trap. Here is a question I want you to sit with for a moment. Right now, without looking at your bank statements, how many recurring monthly charges do you have? Most high earners genuinely cannot answer this question. The answer, when they actually look, is almost always alarming. The average American has 17 recurring subscription charges per month. At the income levels we're discussing, that number is often higher. Streaming services, software tools, gym memberships never used, subscription boxes still arriving, premium tiers for apps opened monthly, parking apps, cloud storage. The list is long, and the automation that makes it convenient also makes it invisible. Here is the specific damage. A $100 per month subscription retained for 10 years at an opportunity cost of 8% market returns represents approximately $18,300 in foregone wealth. That is the real cost of the streaming service you forgot about. The practical fix. Do a full subscription audit today. Pull up your last 2 bank statements and credit card statements and highlight every recurring charge. Categorize each as essential, valuable, or forgotten. Cancel the forgotten ones in the next 24 hours. Redirect those dollars to investment. Reason number 4, the big 3 overspend. Financial researchers have a term for the 3 expense categories that account for the majority of wealth destruction in high-income households: housing, transportation, and food. These are the categories where the gap between what people spend and what would be financially optimal is largest, and where the social pressure to overspend is most intense. On housing, the conventional guideline is 28 to 30% of gross income. At $150,000 a year, that's $42,000, $3,500 a month. Many high-income and major metropolitan areas spend 40 to 50% of gross income on housing, driven by location status, square footage, and the desire to live in a neighborhood that matches their perceived professional identity. The excess above 30% is not housing cost, it is an extremely expensive status purchase. On transportation, the research from the Millionaire next door found that the typical American millionaire spends less than $35,000 on their vehicle. High-income earners in the $100,000 to $200,000 range frequently spend $50,000 to $80,000 on vehicles, often financed, often with high insurance premiums attached. The difference between a $35,000 vehicle and a $65,000 vehicle invested over 25 years is approximately $270,000. On food, restaurant spending at high income levels is almost universally the fastest growing and most underestimated expense category. It scales with income invisibly. $20 lunches become $40 lunches. $10 wines become $30 wines. The aggregate monthly restaurant and food delivery total for many high-income earners would shock them if they calculated it honestly. But I've worked hard for this income. I deserve to enjoy it. Nobody is telling you not to enjoy your income. This is not a video about deprivation. It's a video about proportion. The question isn't whether to enjoy your money, it's whether you're enjoying it in a ratio that leaves your future self with options. Spending 95% and investing 5% means enjoying your present on the direct expense of your future. The person who spends 75% and invests 25% enjoys both. My expenses are genuinely high. I can't cut more. There are three categories to evaluate. 1. Fixed costs that cannot be reduced. 2. Fixed costs that could be reduced with a decision you're not ready to make. And 3. Variable costs that feel fixed but aren't. Most people's "I genuinely can't cut" budgets contain a significant amount of Category 3. The audit will show you where you actually are. You make too much to still be this broke. That's true, but it's not a judgment, it's a diagnosis. The mechanism is lifestyle creep, status premium spending, invisible subscriptions, and a big three overspend. All of it is fixable. None of it requires earning more. All of it requires spending differently. The person you're building toward, the version of you at 60 with options instead of obligations, isn't built by earning more. They're built by capturing more of what you already earn. Here is your one action today. Pull up the last 60 days of bank and credit card transactions. Sort by amount. Look at the top 20 charges. 3 of them will be things you'd be embarrassed to defend out loud. Cancel them or reduce them in the next 24 hours. Route the savings to investment. That's it. 3 charges, 24 hours. Your future self is watching.